and then we'll get started in a moment. We'll take all these sharp objects out of the way. And kind of unusual now for me to start a painting session and not have to kind of be quiet. That's because the girls are out of the house. So for an hour or so. See, this is kind of unexpected. Otherwise, I might have announced it. But then, if you announce it, then it doesn't happen, So let's just make the best out of this that we can. And we don't need the volume on the computer. And here we go. Okay. Oh, folks here already. All right. So, for those of you that do not know where we're at, we already started working on our next army. The papal army here, and I got something cool to show you guys as well. And I don't want to steal my own thunder. And here's Mitch's castle that is nearly done. I forgot to take it to him the other day, but we still need to do a little bit more to it. It looks kind of flat. It actually has several colors in it. It just doesn't look like much. So we'll come back to that in any second here. Let's flip this thing around. And okay, here we go. So the cool thing is this little guy over here. We'll talk about this when some more people join. Stay tuned. All right. Let's clear some of this stuff out because we just have way too many things here on the table. I think I ended up the session last time with doing that castle kind of. I didn't do that on the screen. It's nothing exciting or anything. It was just something I was kind of doing on the side. I forget exactly what I was doing, but all right. So do some hobby stuff here. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, folks. Not sure how long I'll be on here. Maybe about an hour or so. But this is where we left off on these knights. And these two guys are done over here. These two. And then we're working on this guy right here. We'll finish him up. Hopefully we can get him finished up today. And that'll be 3 of the 6 knights done? Yeah. Unfortunately, I was surfing armies. It just kind of unexpectedly happened. I made a comment about something the other day in one of our game sessions, and I looked up an army, and now I'm all set. I'm all ready to do the next one after this one. But, that's what it's all about. That's why you don't buy all the lead up front. Because you never know what your heart's desire is going to be the next army to work on. So, all right. 4? Yeah, I can go ahead and spill the beans. All right. So, in case you guys haven't been caught up on videos, which shame on you if you haven't. It's not like you have anything else to do, right? You don't have to work. Just watch my stuff. We had a unboxing that we did, what day is it, Wednesday? 2 days ago. And Joe Coton, who is the patron saint of patience, actually got something in the mail, and he held on to it for like 3 weeks and didn't open it. And he wanted us to unbox it. So he did that, and we did that in his unboxing video for his new Lusitanian army. Check that out. And then he also ordered this from Etsy. This is a 3D printed ziggurat. What'd you call me? A ziggurat. And he wanted me to paint this for him. So after I'm done with this night, we'll do that, because I won't have a painting session this weekend or next weekend. This weekend we're supposed to be going out of town, and next week we're definitely going out of town because I'm not staying in town to celebrate my birthday. So we're going to do nothing big, but we're going to get out of town both weekends. So we're going to try to get this knocked out as soon as we can, but I don't want to stop in mid-figure. So we're not doing this after the Papal Army's done because, we'd like to get this done within 6 months, So this shouldn't take long, but yeah, I'll have you guys take a look at that. You can see some of the 3D printing on here, but it actually I think works because A real ziggurat would be made full of bricks. So the fact that it has some kind of a texture, there you go. You can see the texture on it really good. And I don't remember what the name of the vendor is on there, but I did mention that. Go watch if you want to know who makes this. Go watch the unboxing video for Joe Coton. It's on this channel. It came out yesterday, I believe. And watch it till the end. And at the end, he reads off who the Etsy vendor is, and I don't remember who it is, but it's on there, and you can get one of these for yourself. I'm not sure what scale it is. Maybe it's 2 or 3 millimeter, but it's pretty darn cool. So this should paint up nice. And my first reaction would be to take something like this and just go, okay, well, let's take some of this detail off. But other than it would take forever to do that, I think the fact that it does have that it has that detail on there is actually kind of helpful. We are going to clean up some of the stuff on here, but really, come on, I don't need to bend over. It's after work hours. Okay, so we're going to clean this thing up and paint it, and it should turn out pretty nice. And if it doesn't, then I'm painting this for free. So you get what you pay for. No, I'm sure it'll turn out fine. Looks like it would be fun. This is for his Third Dynasty of Ur, and I keep calling them Akkadians, but honestly, it's probably Akkadians. That's how you say it. It's Akkadian army. So pretty cool. Ziggurat. Yeah. Anyways, we will paint this. Well, we may start on it tonight if we get through this guy. So let's stop talking and start painting, right? So we can get to that. That'd be kind of cool. Oh. All right. So glad I'm not at work. And I took a gander at I'm trying to upload these videos that were on Facebook Live because I realized that a lot of people aren't on Facebook. And, I can see if you're worried about your personal information, but if you're worried about getting into arguments, just don't get into arguments. I don't, no matter how much they try to bait you. I don't argue with people on there. Somebody becomes a nuisance. It's happened a few times over 12 years. Just block them. I don't need to hear them. There's a real shit show going on in one of the groups I subscribe to. I'm not going to go into what it's about, but I tolerate zero angst and anger and any of that stuff when it comes to my hobby. If it becomes too much of a pain in the ass, I'll just stop doing it. But there's some people that just like getting into arguments about stuff with no intention of changing anyone's mind. So we're not interested in that. If you think differently than me, that's cool. That's what used to make America great. I'm not so sure that's the same anymore, but this is to find what we have in common, not to point out that our differences. Okay, man, I don't remember. I think I used this mixed with black. I think I could be wrong. Could be brown. Let's get some of that SS brown. Which I put away. Try that. Yeah, this hobby is about having fun. Once it starts becoming not having fun, just need to find another hobby, Or as I like to say, I'm not going to let somebody take the fun out of my hobby. We're fortunate we don't have any of those people in our game group currently. Okay. I believe it was this, and I believe it was some of this. Let's do this and see where we get. You know, I've got my doubts. There's a little bit. Red is really, really powerful. And there seems to be some red tint to this. So let's go ahead and soak all this up. And just for good measure, we'll use the other side. Jeez. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna go do my work, and I'm like, well, I was gonna go do my workout, and I'm like, you know what? Let's paint first. That way I get around to painting and catch some of you guys before you guys get some shut eye. I guess I did okay. I guess it was the right move. Maybe this has red in it. Well, regardless. There's probably quicker ways to do this, using a dip method or something like that, but you know. Hello, Sweden. I don't know how welcome is in Sweden. Sorry, Swedish. I don't think this was the color. I think I just used black. Let's see. Be nice if I remembered, right? It's not that big of a deal. You'd think I'd make more mistakes more often. Let's try this. That's it. Okay. No big deal. No big deal. Uh-oh. What do we got here? But uh-oh. I don't know what the two little dots over the A mean. Is that a short A or a low A? Or a long A? So it's either Välkommen or Välkommen. Mr. Carter, my favorite Martian. Mike B, hello, welcome. Välkommen. Hey, I don't want to say things wrong, you know? Unless I'm specifically making fun of whatever language it's in. Like, I don't know if you've caught us talking with my Norwegian stuff. We do a really bad impression of the Swedish chef on that, but you know, that's all fun and games, you know. Last one, it's the long one. Okay. Vel, val, Valkommen or Velkommen? Yeah. Last one. I think that was the second one. Oh, I just give up. In German, it makes a short sound, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. I just found that out recently. I've been saying all the German names, all the German stuff wrong. Oh, I'm just a stupid American. Hey, I'm still doing better than most people in this country, so I call that a. I know it's not saying anything, but you know, I want to get it right. That counts for something, right? Except the only thing I can't do is the French, because the French have two accents. They have one way and another one the other way, and I don't know which one's which. And I speak Spanish, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know where to put the accent on words because I've never been to school in it. You know, it's just conversational. Just spoke it at home. I don't have a formal education. People say, I thought you speak Spanish. I said, well, it's like being from West Virginia and English. Doesn't do you any good, Oh, this is an offended-free zone. You guys know everything. Everything we do here isn't fun. And if you don't get it, well then, as my boss says, you need to get some thicker skin. Oh look, I even have a different color here too. Well, I'm just gonna deal with it. We're gonna make this one work. I guess I shouldn't have put my paints away. It's all good. We can paint our way out of this mess. All right, iced coffee to the rescue. So yeah, we'll do the ziggurat next. Yeah, we got 11 people on there, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we'll do Joe's ziggurat next. So, I don't paint for people, but I paint for people. Well, what do you mean? Well, I don't charge people to paint. So, like I took Mitch's castle and just started painting it. He's not going to give me anything for it. Um, I don't want him to. But I paint things for people if I feel like it, and it's for free when I do. So it's got to be something that's fun to do. And to be honest with you, that ziggurat I could spend a lot of time on it, and it's going to take less time to paint than one figure. So it's not like it's a tremendous amount of time. Um, so we'll see. Yeah, unfortunately, this is why I don't buy a whole bunch of lead. I got this wild hair, and I found out today that I know what the next army I'm going to want to do is. And now I've got to wait a long time before I do it. So, by the time I get done with this army, I may realize, nah, I don't want to do that with those guys after all. I want to do something different. But hey, you got to have dreams, right? You got to have something to look forward to. So, I'm that way about food too. I'll go to a restaurant, we'll talk about food, and we're not talking about the food we're eating there. We're talking about like the other food that we like to eat. So that's how you know you're a foodie. Kevin here again. Lake, what was the name of that lake? That huge lake that wasn't so huge? Havasu or something like that? Still a big, long, meandering thing. Lake in the middle of the arid landscape. Okay. Havasu. That's got to be. What's the big tribe that's out there? I know there's many. I'll be honest, I don't know. Comanches? I don't know. I never do westerns. I don't really watch western movies, so I'm kind of ignorant of that. Navajo? There you've got big reservations. There's small ones here in Florida. And as I like to say, they shipped everybody out to these reservations and then they felt bad about it. And, they named after everything after them. How about just ship the people back? We have some hard to pronounce names here in Florida, for sure. Navajo, okay. Well, you know how I'd find out about the Native Americans, right? build some of those armies. Then I get to know. That's how gaming is learning. You know, those cave dwellers and the army lists are just kind of bland, unfortunately. But they do make figures for them. They make dog people and what else do they make? I believe they make the Western Forest and the Eastern Forest Indians. I don't remember who, but they make them. Um, I don't remember what their list is now. I got to believe the new list for 3.0 are better than the original ones. The original ones were all the ones that were Northwest, the Northwest Native Americans were like all bow, and like every single one of them, and and the Eastern ones were all warband, if I remember correctly. And it was like, don't you think there'd be like a mix of anything? But you have an Eastern Forest Army unpainted. Okay. In 2.2, I think they were all warband. A whole army of Magwas running around. I used to know a guy that was in that movie. He was an extra in that movie. And he was a guy that used to come into our hobby store way back many, many, many years ago. Shoot, it's like 30 years ago. Anyways, he's like, yeah, I'm one of the British soldiers that gets killed by Magua. I'm like, really? Yeah, I'm at that one point, and I guess only he knows. You can't tell that it's him, but I guess it's the one famous person that I know, other than Phil Barker. And I don't know him anymore. I mean, I don't know this person anymore. They're a reenactor, and they used to come in the hobby store. So, don't remember what his name is anymore. I think he's a Kevin. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I actually tried to stop to watch that movie the other day in the last month with my daughter, and it it did not age very well. Kurosan makes them. Hey Joe, we were just talking about you, about how much you're going to have to pay me to paint this ziggurat. Oh man. No, I got to get it done. If you're going to come back on Monday, I got to get it done this week because I'm out this weekend. Well, I'll just have to hold on to it longer. Okay, we got a long one here. Trying to find out how armies during the late 16th century Northern European look like. So I'm trying to read up on that, learn a lot of stuff about that period doing that. Yeah, I love that period. I love that period. I like that period because that's when my people were kicking everybody's ass until we kicked everybody out of our country and knew how to handle money, and then we went into debt. And, well, and then we got a French king, and, it just all went downhill from there. No, I like that period. I've got several armies for that period. I don't have Northern European ones, though, so I don't have Swedes or yeah, I've got the Low Country Spanish, the Dutch Rebellion, French Catholic, Huguenots, the English. Who else? I feel like I'm missing somebody. That's it. That's what I have. So I guess I don't have everybody. But yeah, I always fancy to do something to the English, and the Duke of Parma lands on Britannia. Anyhow, yeah, I like that period, and all the 1500 stuff, of course. That transition period of you still have knights, you still have pikemen, you still have shooters, you still have artillery, you still have it's like you have all the medieval stuff plus, and then some, and then some. Northern Europeans, I would think that they would use. Well, it depends on which army you're going to do. They who makes the land snack connects with plunderhosen, the long pants. Lots of people do. Grumpy, I think Grumpy makes them in 15. Some of those guys would be appropriate. It's pretty much everybody used those the combed uh, morion. I don't know how you say it in English, honestly. As many times as I've typed it. In Spanish, it's morion. But the those helmets, just about everybody dressed similarly. Now, when you make an army, and you're going to do both sides, you kind of, in my opinion, you kind of have to put your own spin on how they look so that when they're standing away from each other, they can, you can differentiate between them. Swedish and Polish mainly. Oh, okay. Well, the Polish are easy. They make dedicated figures for them. The Swedes of that period, I don't think they make anything for the Swedes dedicated for the Swedes until Gustavus Adolphus, but that's later. The Swedes. Okay. Yeah, you got to do your own people, man. If you're going to game, you got to do your own people. I'll tell you what, though, it's personal. I don't like losing with my people. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else would be like, oh yeah, I don't want to lose, but it's like you bring shame on your family. Jared, welcome. Good day. That's right, because you're in Australia. You have the German name in Australia. Shh. You tell nobody. Welcome, welcome. We're having a bunch of people playing at the other day. I don't know if it was on film, but I realized like everybody that was there was a German background. Marty, Mitch, Luke, well, obviously, Joe. Who else? Joel. Joel's German too. Um, who am I missing? Oh, Scott. Yeah, everybody's German except me. Well, my people were never the enemy of the Germans, so I'm good, and we're not gonna have a fight with that stuff. WRG had rules for that time period. I know somebody who played Tercio way back when. Why is that? You just typed a message and it says it's held for review. We're gonna show it. There's nothing wrong with that. Prussia via Lancashire. Since I live like 500 meters from the Swedish-Polish battlefield, I kind of want to recreate that battle. It makes sense to me. That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. If I uh, if I spoke Swedish or if I was Swedish, I would probably hate going into an IKEA because I know damn well the name of all those products. They look really cool. They look like the names of like Viking demons or something like that, right? Like their shelves and stuff. But if you like translated that into Swedish, it would be like pooper scooper or something. It would be just something really dumb sounding. I'm certain that's what it is. It sounds really cool, and and looks like it's something really. name, then it's probably just like, the color of a crayon or something like that. That's just a shame. It's better not to know, right? Better not to know. Hell, they may not even have IKEA in Sweden. It's probably one of those things where they just export something that's, you know, will make people think it's like this, and it really isn't. Kirschholm. Oh, we have a Swede and the Polish in the house. All right. Fight it out. Fight, fight, fight. No, I don't know much about that. I honestly didn't know they fought in the fifth. Did I know that they fought in the 1500s? No, I thought that was a 1600s thing, but it's not my area of operations. Like I said, if I start gaming it, that's when I get an education. Read up on all that stuff. I know the Polish armies are heavy in cavalry. What are the Swedish armies of that period? I guess they'd use pikemen, wouldn't they? Probably similar to like a. Well, you said 1500s, so probably similar to like a Catholic German army or something like that, I would imagine. Riders. Everybody used riders, except the Ottoman Turks. Everybody else used riders, and the English. The English didn't use riders. When was Gustavus Adolphus? Early 1600s? Don't ask me an exact date. I know that he met his end in 1632, I think. So he was active for like maybe 20 years before that. Um, so 30 years war. But he's outside of Sweden, or, it may be one of those things. I'm sure it's one of those things, just like if you ask people in the United States about the Revolutionary War, they can only name like one person from it. They don't, and even though there's other people that are involved, just because you're in that country doesn't necessarily mean that you know the history of that country. There's plenty of ignorant people here to prove that point altogether. I'm sure that it's common everywhere else. But during the in the 30 Years' War with the Swedes, there's many other generals that nobody knows about, and I can't name them right off the bat right now. But Torstensson or something like that, that happened after Gustavus Adolphus went, and they were good generals, but Gustavus Adolphus has all of the PR. Like everybody knows, that's the one guy that knew because he was revolutionary. But he passed away. But the Swedes, it's not like they weren't a force to be reckoned with for what 100 years. So there was other guys that were good. They're not known, in it's not common knowledge, you know. Um, yeah, 1618 ish. Yeah, he was very revolutionary. But there's guys that came after him that were good generals. They just nobody knows about them unless you're studying that kind of thing. Oh, now you're putting circles over A's. I don't know what that means. We'll just Battle of Stangebro, Stangabro, between Duke Charles and Sigismund. That's a great freaking name. Sigismund is a great freaking name. Duke Charles. Yeah, see, there's another guy. Daybreak here on the list of Sweden only has mercenary cavalry. Interesting. Yeah, cool stuff, man. Wargaming is about learning. That's why I have no interest in gaming fantasy, because you don't get to like read about things that really happened. I mean, we're not glorifying war, but these people freaking gave their lives for. They should at least be remembered somehow, you know. Um, and sorry about those Swedish generals. I don't remember who the heck they are. I don't know any of the Polish ones. Sorry, Martian. I just don't. I haven't studied it yet. Is that a common first name, by the way, in Polish, Martian? Because there's, I think, another one that comes on here that's, I mean, obviously that's the Polish version of Martin, I would hope. Um, is that a common name? Both of the Polish people that frequent this channel or both have that same first name. Some of the historical events are much more fantastic than what authors dream up for fantasy. Yeah, you can't make some of this stuff up. That whole thing I brought up in my review, in my Audible book review, was that one commander named Regulus in the first Punic War. Man, you can't make stuff up like that. If nobody would believe you, nobody would believe that this guy won two battles and then got captured in the other one, and then he said, "Okay, well, we're going to capture you, but you got to go back to Rome and say they're going to surrender." So not only does he go back to Rome, when he gets to Rome, he says, "Don't listen to these guys. Don't surrender to them. They're Carthaginians. Screw them." And then he goes back, and then they're like, "No, they don't want to negotiate with him," and he gets tortured to death. Like nobody would do that. That's how supposedly honorable is. That may not have happened at all. We don't know, but that's our best guess is what happened, and you can't make that stuff up. I mean, I'll tell you what, Tony Regulus wouldn't have done that. I've been like, see ya. Well, as many ancient battles that I've played, I'm a lot more experienced than that guy. I would have won that battle. Wait, unless it was against Mitch and the Numidians, then all bets are off. But yeah, there's so many incredibly interesting things that supposedly really happened. My favorite Roman name is Curious Dentatus. Oh, I don't know if that's a play in a movie or something. Dentatus got to be teeth, right? I, that's what I would think dentatus has to do with teeth. Curious teeth? I never war gamed anything medieval or ancient until I started playing DBA in 2004. I never played Romans before. I never really watched any Roman movies with Romans in them, other than Ben Hur, the original one. It just didn't interest me. Well, I wasn't going to game it, so why would I watch it? But now, of course, it's totally different. Funny teeth. So curious is funny. Huh. Interesting. He has a wife. Nice. Godolphus died at the Battle of Lutzen in 1632. Oh, well, which one is it? Bretonfield or Lutzen? Didn't he die? Gustavus Adolphus died in one of them, and Tilly died in the other one, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing some 30 Years War gaming, but man, I can't do everything. So, Watching a series on Prime called Britannia. Made it through like 4 episodes and I lost interest. The reason I watched it is because the guy who plays the Roman commander, I like him. I can't remember what his name is right now. I like him. I liked him as the governor. He was my hero on The Walking Dead. I can't remember what his name is. But English chap. I like him. And yeah, he's the one they have the parlay in Walking Dead say, "I've got whiskey." Yep, that sounds like me. Walking Dead sucked after he died, or they got rid of him. But well, let's just put a little bit more of that. David Morrissey, that's what his name is. I like David Morrissey. I was on some page the other day and some guy was giving me shit because I liked that movie, Centurion. I like Centurion. I like Centurion because I liked all the actors that were in it. I like the German Irish guy, whatever his name is, Magneto. I like him. I like Liam Cunningham. I like David Morrissey. You know, I mean, I like the cast. The Witch That Lived in the Woods was cute. You know, the cinematography was beautiful. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to learn my history from it, but it's better than that damn eagle. Anyhow, I like David Morrissey. Yeah, I made it through like 4 episodes of Britannia, and I'm not sure it wasn't that bad. See, that's what happens is I'll start watching something and I'll like lose interest. That happened to me. I also lost interest in the Barbarians one. Same thing. I watched like 4 episodes and I'm like, I may pick it up later. It just, I'd rather do this with you guys than watch TV. At the end of the day, I watch TV and I have nothing to show for it. You know. All the Romans speak with English accent. Yeah, because they're civilized. Oh, man. You know, one show that's really good on it I don't know if it's still on Netflix, or Mitch and I really enjoyed it, was Versailles. And I thought Versailles was really good. And unfortunately, there's lots of English accents there where they could have just had French ones. But that's actually that's a fun show. That's a fun show. So they cast some people really well in that show. So I recommend that. It's not, and there's no combat in it. It's just basically, you know, court politics and intrigue and backstabbing and, you know, the usual fare. But it's you know, it's a cool show. We enjoyed it. Or, you know, watch an episode or two and you'll know whether you want to watch more. Be like, you know, I don't really like this. This isn't really for me. Okay. I agree with entertainment. Yeah, I thought it was great. I've watched it 3 times, I think, which is unusual because I don't rewatch things. I think the Roman commander was cast well too. Can't remember what his name is right now. Yeah. It did give the feeling, though, that it was sparsely populated. There was a lot of scenes where it was like, man, this is like a wasteland of just. I don't mean that ugly. Just it means like there was just so much land and not that many people on it. I don't know. It made it seem really, really big. I don't know. I thought the cinematography was really nice. So. Michael Fassbender. That's what it is. Every time I hear his name, I think of, wasn't he a Formula One driver? No, that's a different German Michael. Do I listen to any historical podcasts a lot at all? I do. The best one, History of Rome. Obviously, I've listened to that one all the way through. That's excellent. That happened at the same time I was building Romans, so that worked out really well. Um, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Um, what else? I've tried listening to the Irish History podcast, and I had a lot of trouble following it because the accent is pretty strong sometimes. But there's some interesting stuff on there. When I was painting my Irish, I was listening to that one. I've tried listening to the history of Byzantium, and the guy just doesn't have the he just didn't. I couldn't follow him. He just didn't have the energy that I liked. He did all the research, so I'm not going to poo-poo that. It just didn't work for me. I've also there's a history of China one that I watched a while ago, and I've watched. Let's see, like the history of Byzantium. He starts in 476, and I made it to about 900 AD, and then I'm just like there's too much. I know it's a big part of it, but it's like iconoclasm. Like I don't care about religious debates. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to hear about battles so that I'll go and research them and want to like build other armies. That's what I'm interested in hearing about. Um, I don't know that I've done any other ones other than those. Um, those have been the ones that I did, and I do a lot of Audible books, and yeah. Yeah, I know the war in the East is just out. I've got to remember if I've seen all of episode 5. Listen to it. I don't remember. I think I did. Um, I was surprised how little, and I'm a World War II junkie, or I thought I was a World War II junkie, but not of the Pacific, because I didn't know anything about not I didn't know anything. That's not true. I know about history when I gained that period. So I'm really familiar with the war in the Atlantic, the war, naval stuff, the stuff in the Mediterranean, early Pacific stuff, all the way through Guadalcanal. I'm familiar with that stuff, but like the land stuff, I've never gamed it. So I didn't know anything about MacArthur and Bataan or none of that stuff. I didn't know any of the details about that stuff. So I thought it was really fascinating. Um, what else? Um, I thought his World War One series was phenomenal. My only gripe with him is sometimes he does a lot, takes a long time to get started. But his episodes are 4.5 hours long, so okay. So he takes 15 minutes starting this episode, no big deal, right? Um, but I like his style. I liked his politics thing too. I watched, but he just finally gave up doing that. I'm not big on politics, but I liked his take on things, kind of middle of the road. Uh, but he gave up doing that one. But obviously the history is what I'm there for. Um, yeah, the Byzantine guy just didn't do it for me. He reminded me of the guy that narrated the um, Dan Jones Plantagenet's book. He just didn't do it for me. He wasn't engaging. So Dan Carlin made World War One my main history interest. Those episodes were great. I remember power washing my driveway when I was listening to them, and um, yeah, I actually know more about World War One than I do about the Pacific land combat in World War Two. Um, but anyhow, I was power washing my driveway listening to the Armageddon series, and thought it was really good. Thought it was really, really good. He didn't give me enough detail on stuff I was really passionate about, like the naval stuff, but I've got other things that could do that. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was excellent. So, one of the best things that, and you can find it on YouTube. is Dan Carlin does this little 30-minute thing, and the name of it is Who Had the Better Military, the World War One Germans or the World War Two Germans? And it's really interesting because he goes point by counterpoint and kind of describes what it is. I recommend you listening to that if you like Dan Carlin stuff. If you haven't listened to it already, it's on YouTube, and I don't know what it's under, but that was a cool little snippet. 30 minutes is very short for him, so yeah. Who had the better military, World War One Germans or the World War Two Germans? I'm not going to spoil it for you, but listen to it. It's interesting. I've thought about it before, and it was interesting when he was putting all the pieces together of it. It's always cool to learn stuff. So, and of course, some things are subjective, but you know. Oh, all right. Thanks for the stream, chat, see you people. Okay. All right, Mr. Cog. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch episode six, listen to episode six, War in the East, but I will. I got to see if I've listened to all of five. I don't remember where it ended. Um, honestly, don't remember. It's been so long. It seems like it's been like a year. Um, but you know, you can't gripe about him too much. He's doing it for free, so and he's doing a lot of research. Being a World War II junkie and being out of it for like the last 20 years has been really interesting what kind of new information's been out there since the opening of the Soviet archives. Now, I know you got to take everything with a grain of salt that comes out of them, but it is at least another perspective um, on things. So, lots of things that we grew up with in the 80s and stuff, thinking we knew that were a certain way, are kind of like, well, maybe it wasn't exactly that way, you know? I'm here to try and replace crossing obstacles. All right. It's a relay team. It's a Northern European relay team. John, you sound like you might be fun at parties, or maybe a younger John was fun at parties, especially with that white rabbit. Here's John and his white rabbit. Oh man. I'm apparently not fun at parties because I came across something the other day and I realized I've never done anything really stupid while intoxicated, which I guess is a good thing. You don't need to. You're intoxicated. Just enjoy the ride. He has a great 2 hour episode, Caesar Hastings. I did. Yeah, that was interesting. In which he shares some of his wargaming past. Very entertaining. Yeah. I wonder, would he be a fun person to game with? I don't know. He likes to talk a lot, so. Dan, can we finish this turn? I did catch an episode where he was on. What show was he on? He was on. Oh, what's the name of that guy? I can never remember. The little short dude on HBO. The politics guy. It's on HBO. The short dude. Anyways, he was one of the panelists on there, and they didn't let him talk. But that's typical for for what's his name. I can't remember what his name is. He was on there. I did catch that. I think somebody put it up on YouTube or something like that. I don't subscribe to HBO. Not because I have anything against it. Just I have a limited amount of time to watch what I have. This John goes by Peter to his friends since he was 2 years old. So try to get used to it. Well, then it's your handle, man. You put a hyphen in there. I'll call you whatever you want. You know. That'd be like me putting my handle. Why are you calling me Tony? Because that's what your freaking name is, there, dude. Handle. I'll call you whatever you want to be called. I work in a construction industry, so I occasionally I get to talk to field guys, and one guy's name that I dealt with a long time is, you can call me Cornbread. Like that's what you want to be named, Cornbread? Okay. I mean, you pick your name. Johnny Peter. Tony's not my legal name, but if you call me by my legal name, then I'm thinking you're talking about my dad. So because I'm a junior, so okay, I'll call you whatever you want to be called there. But it's going to be difficult to remember that if I see your name says John Dash Peter. Peter Rabbit. Maybe that's what I should call you. Peter White Rabbit. White Peter Rabbit. Hund. What does Hund mean? Hundet. Marty's last name has a DT on it as well. You're a bit more German than he is, though. All right, I'm done fooling with this. Let's get some white in here and let's brighten this up for the final highlight here. I could sit there and tinker with this all day long. Because first of all, I don't mind doing this. What time is it? 7? Man, it's early. Oh, I gotta remember, I gotta take my meds. I'm notorious for remembering until midnight or something like that. Right back. My meds that are working very well. You haven't heard about me in the news, have you? Well, they're working. It's got nothing to do with that, folks. There's a story behind the name change and the hyphen, but it needs a campfire and a beer to make it interesting. How many John Peters do you know? Pronounced Peta. Peta. Hund. Without the T means dog. We just added the T to confuse people. Hund. Huh. Maybe the T at the end is the past version of dog. Does that mean you used to be a dog? Hund. Well, at least your heraldry doesn't have a potted plant like Mitch. I'm never gonna let him live that one down. Look up his last name, man. It's like some guy that grew pot plants one pot at a time. Now, why was that blocked, Jared? This is weird. What is my ethnicity? Ah, that's exactly how I like it to be said. My ethnicity. Okay. All right. My dad was born in Cuba. My mom was born in Cuba. They came over in 1960. Thank goodness. So I was able to be born here and not there. His grandfather, or his no, his grandfather. So my great grandfathers came over from Spain. So that's my background. I don't look Hispanic. Yes, because Hispanic is something weird. I don't like that terminology. I don't use that terminology for myself. I think it's weird and confusing. So yeah, I tan well, but I'm tan always all the time here, but I'm plenty white where I'm not tan. And yeah, I've got green eyes, so I figured I've got some Visigoth in me, I'm guessing. So I think Mitch mentioned the other day we were talking about, oh, it was on the unboxing. He was like, hey, your people, when he was talking about the ancient Spanish. I think my people decided, we were being pushed by the Huns and we came over there. That's my guess. But, we're all interrelated somehow or another. But that's what my background is. So when I talk about Spanish armies and stuff like that, I consider them to be my people. So, but I don't have any family in Spain that I know of, or in Cuba that I know of, for that matter. So, you know, my dad, he's not around anymore. He passed away like 5 years ago. He said, and he lived to a long time, and he mentioned that my great grandfather was a colonel in the Spanish army. So that would have been like late 1800s. That's all I know. I don't know anything other than that. But do I know which part of Spain they hail from? Yes. Apparently, a small town in the south of Spain called Ecija, spelled Ecija. But there's a town near there that is the same. I'm gonna move this. That has the same surname as my last. No, my surname is the same name of that town. So that's tied into that somehow. So if you look in the area of southern Spain near Cordoba, it is in there. But I've never gotten a chance to go to Europe. And I was going to get a chance last year, but it'll still be there. Hey, I would rather go to Europe, but still have this, all the internet that ties us all in so we can share our hobby all over the place. Yeah, there is a town on the road between Cordoba and Seville or Sevilla that is named Ecija, and that's what my dad said that he went there one time because he's been to Spain 3 times because they didn't go until I was already kind of on my own and I was busy working and I never went with them. But okay, yeah, so there's a town between just south of Cordoba called Aguilar de la Frontera, and I'm sure that's somehow tied into my last name. But it was a knightly order, and it literally means eagle's roost. So I definitely have a cool crest of arms, but I don't have no damn potted plant. My German family is Seeforth. I just found out my great grandfather fought in the Austrian army. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, so that's all I know. That's all I know. But so yeah, I actually look less Spanish than the people in Spain. So I don't know. Visigoth? I guess I could look it up sometime, but I should build a Visigoth army. But I ain't having no damn mustache, okay? I'm not going to be growing a mustache or anything just so I can be Visigothish. I could, but I got to keep my good looks, man. I don't have my personality to fall back on like some people. But that's all I know. So yeah, I consider Spanish, my people. I eat olive oil every day. What else? I don't know, but I've never been to Europe. Unfortunately, I may not get a chance until I'm retired because it's just so darn difficult to take time off. And I got to take at least 2 weeks off. But I would rather interact with you Europeans this way than not have the internet like we did 20 years ago or 30 years ago or however long ago it was and then travel to Europe. I'd much rather interact with folks from there that have the same hobby. It's much better. So if I never get to go, I never get to go, you know. But it's good to know where you're from. A lot of people in this country don't. Um, but then, as far as I know, my family tree is a little bit more, less branched out than some other people. Like, as I understand it, people up north, they'll either be Italian or Polish or something like that, and they kind of all stick together. And that's in the South. That's not really the case. They're from everywhere. But mine is kind of a different situation. So yeah, I don't like that term Hispanic. I would never consider myself Hispanic because I've said this before. I think people should put their ethnicity down. It doesn't matter what race you are because it's just what race are you? Human, right? So you're going to make a category for Hispanic, but you're not going to make a category for people from Italy, which are, as I like to say, um, probably more. I could actually probably read Italian if it was written out. What do you call a Visigoth without a mustache? A girl. Nice, nice. I should build a Visigothic army. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Along with, well, I've got to finish these guys, and then the other army I discovered today, I've got to build. I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'm not going to tell you what that is. Steal it from me. Can't wait to do some Pope jokes. Hey, all the popes during these time periods were horrible people. So, all the leaders during this time period were horrible people. We'll make fun of all of them. That's what we do. That's what we do here. Even though that's not popular anymore. Oh well. So I've got a feudal Spanish. My first army I did was a feudal Spanish of the time period of El Cid. That was the first DBA army I did, and I've got the troops to do a 335 C list. So that would be a 1200s time period Spanish army, and there's some manuscript or whatever that has tons of the Spanish of the time period where they used the horses with the coverings on them, and yeah, very divisive. That's why I like to use ethnicity. Yeah, or I can just put it in 21st century terms. I identify as um, they're removing the word race from the laws of Germany, since there is no such thing. We too can be PC. Yeah. What tribe are you from? Um, Yeah, I never liked the Hispanic word, the Hispanic terminology, which is funny because I don't mind Latin. I don't mind that one. But even though I spoke Spanish before I ever spoke English, I think in English. I don't know if that makes any sense, but and I can switch every other word. I can do the Spanglish thing, and I don't even know how to explain that to people, but I can do it. But I have zero formal education in Spanish, so I wouldn't want to like listen to the news in Spanish because like technical words are hard to pick up. I just have limited vocabulary. Yeah, maybe like a fifth grader's vocabulary in Spanish. Maybe a little bit more than that, but it'd be pretty cool to do a game with somebody that spoke Spanish, and I would speak in Spanish, they would speak in English. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. I did communicate with somebody, and I thought we might actually get a chance to do that. And I asked them, I said, so, it's a vocabulary issue for me. So, like, some words, like, everybody knows, I know how do you say knights or spearmen or that kind of stuff. How the hell what do you call crossbowmen in Spanish? And he gave me a word. It was almost like a German word because it was like freaking 27 letters long. And I'm like, I've never heard that in my entire life. How about we don't call them that? But that'd be kind of cool. I could use the practice. Latinos don't like the term Hispanic either. It makes them sound related to Spain. See, and to me, Hispanic doesn't sound like it's related to Spain at all. It's the hip part. I'm like, where does that come from? I don't know. I like ethnicity much better. I guess I should do that 23andMe. I talked to my wife about it, but you find out you're something you don't want to be. It's better to just live in the fantasy world. No, but if I had to guess, I've got to have some Northern European. So my dad's mom has an odd last name that is kind of weird to try to discern what it is. But she was blonde haired and blue eyed, and she was of course born in 1899. Um, so I guess her parents came from Spain. I don't know, but she was blonde hair, blue eyes, and spoke Spanish from Cuba. So, not exactly the demographic that people. Actually, both of my grandmothers had blue eyes because my mom's mom had blue eyes as well. So, I understand what you mean. I knew that I had really learned Spanish when I began in Spanish. I don't know that I can even think about it. I don't. I just kind of do it. I don't know. It's just second nature. I wouldn't want a war game in Spanish or think about history. There's just too many technical words. I don't want to describe to people like, well, I don't like talking about work anyways, but I wouldn't want to describe to people in Spanish what I do for a living and how I go about doing that because there's just too much technical stuff and I just don't have that vocabulary of knowledge, so. But it's cool to talk about where you're from or where you think you're from because none of us get to pick it. It just is what it is. You don't get to pick who your mother is, and you don't get to pick where you hatched. It is. So Visigoth army. I wonder if that's in the cards sometime. No shooters. Damn it. I did look that up. So the Visigoth army, I know, I'm going to go off on a tangent. Well, that's what I enjoy doing. That keeps me engaged. Where are my rules? Where are my rules? I don't think I took them with me. I was looking for them the other day and they weren't there. Where are my rules? They actually have some cool allies. They actually can have like Byzantine allies or something like that. They should be here, but they're not here. Didn't get left somewhere. Oh well, I don't know what the hell they are. But yeah, the Visigoths have two different lists, and the first one can have like um, Byzantine allies, like early Byzantine allies, which is cool because I've got early Byzantine troops. So I think the word Hispanic carries more baggage with the USA than it does in Europe. Yeah, yeah, they like putting people in little boxes here, which is fine if there's all the boxes, but not like, okay, we got four boxes, which one are you going into? Now wait a second. When I speak with someone else who's bilingual Spanish English, I don't recall what language you've been speaking in. Cool. Spain is Hispania. Okay. And Ireland is Hibernia, right? Or is that Scotland? But nobody calls it that. One of those two. Oh well. Okay, I think this is as far as we're going to go with this white on this guy. We might tinker with it a little bit later, but that's quite enough. Now, let's go ahead and do his surcoat, and let's do it in red, so we have some variation there. And because we're not going to put his little shield nomenclature and stuff on there. I'd do it yellow, but we already have a yellow guy, you know, and too much of a yellow thing. I mean, I guess I could do it in yellow, or just do a different shade of yellow. Yeah, let's do it red. It was like that one guy on the exercise bike thing that I do. He says one of his sayings is, um, he'll say, "I make suggestions, you make decisions." It's a good saying. I like it. This is red, or in Spanish, because Vallejo has in both colors, bermellón. I've never heard somebody said that's very bermellón. Yeah, Kevin, I don't think I have much in common with the people in your state that have that Hispanic thing. I find it very strange. Maybe this is just me with my medieval thinking. I find it very strange to name people after yourself that you're not related to. I find it very strange that, like, my last name is very, very common south of the border. Very, very, very common. It would be like Johnson or something like that. Um, the very, very common last name south of the border, in Mexico in particular. And what I understand is a lot of people went down, they were baptized that name or they converted or whatever. And I just find that extremely strange. I find that extremely strange to just haphazardly name people after yourself. And the same thing with, not that I really want to talk about slavery, but I think it's very strange that slave owners name their slaves after themselves, or I don't know if exactly went down. I just find that very, very strange. It makes more sense to me to do the whole, you insulted my family, we're going to have a duel with, whatever, than to just haphazardly name people after yourself. I don't know. I just, maybe that's just me, but yeah, there's not a whole. My family is extremely small. My dad was an only child. My mom was an only child, and my stepmother, who has been basically my mom my whole life because my mom died. My original mother died when I was 4, and she's basically my mom. She was also an only child, so I have no uncles. Never had any. Um, and yeah, I would assume that if the Visigoths had Byzantine allies, they would still be in the Balkans, and what other allies once they got to Hispania? Slaves took their owners. Okay. I don't know much about. I just don't know much about that. Yeah, I just find it very. I find that very strange. You know. Yeah, you're probably right about the Balkans thing. Yeah, not growing a mustache, and a beard's a pain in the butt. 'Cause I grow a beard, but then I gotta shave my neck every day. Now I'm shaving every day. Like that's a pain in the butt, you know. So, as I like to say, I can grow a beard, so I don't need to. Not trying to prove anything. Look, Mom, I grew a beard. Yeah, okay. You're a big boy now, son. I was telling you, you are half Polish. Well, maybe a quarter. Um, I still think it's really strange. This is going to blow you out of the water, Martian. When that video you sent me over a video about the singing one with the Slavs, the one with all the pretty girls. I know it doesn't really narrow it down, but I don't think of Poles as Slavs. I don't mean that ugly. I just kind of thought Poles were kind of their own thing, you know. Um, I don't know. Just me being ignorant. Sorry. I'm half Polish. Sorry, we don't. I don't want to be claimed to be half Polish, 'cause I don't want to be part of another country that the communists kicked us out of. I don't want anything part of that. Haiti is not far from Cuba. Okay, and Russia's not far from Poland. I think the Visigoths were allied with the Byzantines when Belisarius invaded Italy. Okay. Poles claim Sarmatians. You know which guys I don't like? Uh-oh, here's people going to get offended. No, you're not. Scythians. I don't like Scythians because I think the word on the street was, 'cause I had a Scythian army I was going to build. I think I painted like 2 guys. I ran out of steam. They never showered except like, so they like never even showered unless they like walked through a river or something like that. I'm like, I don't want to be related to anybody who doesn't freaking shower, man. You got to shower every freaking day. Once my West Norman army is finished, they will head south and fight the Visigoths, which I have, and then the Andalusians, which I have will do for El Cid thing. No army yet. Okay. Oh man. I got nothing against the Polish. I don't know any. Oh, you know what? I did. I knew of a Polish guy, not counting you guys. My father-in-law was lived into a house with a Polish guy. They split it out, and the guy who smoke up a storm, he like stunk the whole. He like had his house like subdivided, and the Polish guy apparently smelled of of bo all the time, and that was this guy. Poles don't smell like that, and he smoked all that. That's the only Polish person I know. In the South, people are like from everywhere. It's not like okay, there's Polish people over here, and so there's like no place to get Polish food here, So can't say that I've ever had Polish food. Not because I try to avoid it; it's just not to be found. The East Normans will head through Germany to Italy. That's when I get this army done, they have to do battle with Joe's Eastern Franks. Be miffed. Emperor Otto miffed at the Pope. Even though these guys are of a later period. His will be like Dark Age, Norman looking, and these guys are medieval looking, but details, right? It's still the army list is the army list. I found a book on Belisarius that was available on Audible, but I have a feeling it's kind of a novel, and I don't want it to like introduce like stuff that didn't really happen. I'd rather, read about the battle and the other guy, the other Byzantine commander, Narses. Wasn't he a eunuch? I think he was a eunuch. Oh, come on. Again? All right. Ugh. Poles were more than likely one of the Germanic peoples. Those are my boys, at least the good-looking ones. Is that what the Pope says? Those are my boys, at least the good-looking ones. Oh, wait. Too soon. I don't have the army done. I can't do those jokes yet. Oh, we're going to have fun with this. This can have a knight general option, which is not the Pope. It's like one of his, there's a name for it. I can't remember what exactly it is because it's a really long name. But his representative or whatever, I don't know if that I'm going to build it. The whole point in paying this army is you have to have a litter general. That's the whole point in doing this army. Narses was a eunuch. Wow. And he was pretty successful too. Yeah, I got to do those guys sooner or later. I already got the Ostrogoths. So. Like that army. I like 6 knights, 6 Saloy. Those guys are a hoot to play. Polanes were a West Slavic people. Didn't know. I thought they were their own thing. All right, we don't want to have this super bright, so we're going to go ahead at this point right here. We're going to add a little bit of white. Not go crazy with it because we don't want it to be all pink and shit. I don't think I want to go yellow. We're fine with this. You guys are typing up a storm. There was a cardinal named Secola who failed at his attempt to be pope because nobody wanted a Pope Secola. Is it Sicola? Popsicola. Da 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 da. My jokes are more off color. I do have a small boy that will be on the Pope stand. No, he's not doing anything inappropriate. I don't condone that sort of stuff, but you know. All right, let's brighten this up a little bit more. And I have a guy kneeling too with a sword. I think it's from one of the guys from the. Man, I'm going to spoil all the freaking fun I got planned for you guys. From one of the figure manufacturer that everybody loves except me. Corvus Belli from their 100 Years War range. Actually, I like their medieval figures. I don't dislike all their figures, just some of their poses are just weird. And they got cheekbones and... Where is he? This is from their 100 Years War range. Let's see, let me show you this guy. He's loose around here somewhere. I found him and threw him in here. It's going to be a lot of people on that stand. Here it is. This guy's going to be kneeling on top, in front of the Pope. Yeah, kind of cool. This is actually a nice figure. No huge cheekbones. Italian company? I think Corvus Belli was originally Spanish. And some of their molds were bought by, is it Lurkio? And they're being cast in resin, I think. But yeah, I remember way back in the day they had Imperial Romans, Carthage, Numidians, Gauls. As was strange, they had Carthaginians, but they didn't have Republican Romans. They had Imperial Romans. Maybe some other stuff, but that was the main ones that they had. They had them for a long time, and they were really popular because it seems like anything that they make in DBA Army sets are really popular. And, you know, I don't mind buying things by each. But I'm certainly the exception to the rule. And some of their poses for their javelin throwers in particular are very awkward, the way they're posed. It seems like they were done that way to aid in casting them, but I wasn't a fan. But I did pick up some of their medieval ones from, I guess you guys in Europe call it a bring and buy. We call it a flea market that you have like at a show. And I picked some of them up. And that was just happened to be one of them. And I think he'll do nicely on the on that stand. But it's a 40 by 40 stand. There's going to be 6 or 8 people on it. It's going to be jam-packed full of folks. So I think this is as far up as we need to go. Let's go ahead and do his helmet so we can tie in some of that, and then we'll go ahead and do his lance. My people moved from Gdansk when it was Danzig to Lancashire, England. Gdansk. Would you like to Gdansk? Right, this color here. My people. See, everybody has their people. My people. Martian, you're in Ireland right now. Are there many people that are not freckled and red-haired? As I like to say, if there are, then you can thank my people for not knowing about the Gulf Stream and crashing on the shores and spreading the genetic material and make sure people in Ireland are not all completely red-haired. I found out the other day that Russia still has, what do they call that place? Kaliningrad? Is that what it's called now? Hold on, let me go over there. They still have that little tip, that little corner there. Kaliningrad. Yeah, the East Prussia, whatever it was. Yeah, that's still part of Russia. Like, how'd they get away with that? That should be part of Lithuania or Poland or both. Or I think you guys should snatch that and take it from them. Oh, what did that used to be called? Königsberg? God, I don't remember, man. If you don't practice stuff, you just forget about it. I believe that used to be Königsberg. Kaliningrad. I don't like anything broad. It just sounds too communist for me. No more Grod things. Not a fan of the Reds. Sorry, folks. And of course, we're going to know all the crap out of it. Well, not the crap. We just put some of it over it. Don't need to overdo it or anything. Corpus Belli Spanish, they concentrate on infinity now. Some of their range moved to Lurkio and are done in resin. Some are done by PSC and plastic. Okay, that's what it is. I forgot about that. My people left Stargard after World War I to go to Brandenburg. And the Romans and Celts are still available in metal from Toten's tons. Wow, they really spread their stuff all over the place. Yeah. They were really popular here in the States when they came out. But most people like DBA Army Packs, DBA Army Packs. Before I ever started playing DBA, I was going to play Armati, and I bought 2 Army Packs from Essex, and they got screwed on them. And I know now they tell me if you get the wrong figures, they'll exchange them. Well, I didn't know that back then. This was like 1996. They made like the right figures, but they didn't give me the correct figures. So for the period, and I got bummed out on Army Packs at that point. You know, it's like I'm fine with the figures. I just want to pick what figures are in my army. That's like you're taking all the fun out of it. That's like one of the most fun things I like to do. And I understand other people may not like to do that, but I really enjoy the hell out of that. And yeah, it was just careless or whatever. There's more Polish people in this channel than in Poland. That's all right. Wow. Okay. Let's paint the tippy tip here. Yeah, but I do that all the time. There's the DBA in the back of the DBA book. Some people think it's army list. It's actually a checklist. It's a checklist of all the armies you're going to have. The question is, you don't have them all. But I like to daydream and think what the next army I'm going to do is. I'm interested in damn near all of them, so it's not like there's not many to choose from. But we'll try this color for the lance. It's a light colored horse, so let's do a darker color lance for contrast. Yes, there is a method to this madness. Let there be madness. Speaking of madness, I finally got around to finishing the Joker, or actually it's called just Joker. If you haven't seen it, I can't recommend you to watch it. You'll never get those 2 hours back. It wasn't that it was that bad, it just didn't go anywhere. Just didn't go anywhere. Went somewhere really excruciatingly slow. Half Polish, huh? I don't think you guys want to claim me. Maybe you do. Maybe you guys are hurting so bad you do want to claim me. My favorite priest was Polish. That guy was awesome. Mitch claims that he has a Polish boss, or he had a Polish boss. Huge bald-headed dude. But he had a drinking problem. Is that normal for Polish people? If Polish people have drinking problems, what's a Polish person in Ireland doing other than having a great time? So I guess you weren't rooting for me the other day when I was fighting the Russians against Mitch's Poles, huh? Oh well. It's funny because the game that he won is actually the best army, I think. But Mitch just doesn't like cavalry. He likes those quick kills. And I like numbers. I like playing the numbers games. I don't like quick kills if it's a lower number. Do you build each army entirely with options? Also, do you do each one complete or more some units from the other armies? Kaliningrad. Yeah, you guys should take that back from those Russian bastards. So generally in the past, I would usually find like only one way to play how I was going to play the army, and I'd build it that way with no options. I figured, why build the options when I can just be working on a different army? But lately, I have been doing more options, maybe not all options, but I do more because we play in different ways now with, you have to have at least an army with a horde. So normally I'd be like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and build the horde option too. So I'm getting better about it. But no, I generally don't paint all the options. In the case of certain armies, like my Nan Chao, for instance, one of their options is to have a blade general. I'd love blade generals, but nobody makes blade figures for them, so I'd have to just create guys out of nowhere. I just decided not to do that. But yeah, I generally don't build all the options. Slow is not necessarily bad though. Das Boot's very slow but fantastic. Joker though, just could not engage with it. I agree, it's not worth the effort. It isn't. It's not funny. You know. Yeah, and honestly, you know what? I am absolutely tired of seeing Robert De Niro. I don't want to see him in anything else. I've seen him in too many things. I've just had enough of him. Um, not that he was a big part of the movie, but I just thought about that. I'm like, you know, um, yeah, Das Boot. Yeah, Das Boot was good. Das Boot was good. Don't they have a Amazon or something like that has like a mini series on it? I've heard mixed things about it. I haven't gotten around to seeing it, but I didn't care for that Tom Hanks one that he did recently. What's it called? Greyhound or whatever. Because there was a scene where and they're in the there was just too many Hollywoodisms in that one to handle it. But I did not dislike Das Boot. Das Boot was well done. After World War II, you lost a big part of Poland. Yep. You could thank your neighbors for that. I think a game with a Russian Civil War game would be really interesting because you could have Polish troops and White Russians and Red Russians and all the international brigades and Cossacks and it could be like a zoo. That sounds like fun. All right, we got to do a scabbard for this guy. Let's use a lighter colored scabbard. We're going to go with. I know we're not going to get to the ziggurat today, but maybe we can start the next time with it. Yeah, this is going to make a mess here. Here we go. Well, that's not the color I wanted, but that's the color it'll be now. That's not the color I had in mind. Is there Polish beer? Is it any good? I bet there is Polish beer. I decided not to drink vodka the other night with the Russians. I really didn't feel like I deserved to do that. Yeah, that's the problem with these rules, man. I'm interested in so many darn armies, and there's limited amount of time. There's limited amount of time. Okay, we need to do the back of the saddle, the reins, and such. Let's close this back up before we have an accident. And this is a difficult thing to replace. We have to mail order these if we need more. And we don't want to mail order paints. You started watching Spartacus. I did too. People that I play with rave about it. I just couldn't get into it. But gave up once it started splattering blood in slow motion. Be a hack and slash film without much historical content. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it didn't captivate me. Those things aren't geared for us. They really aren't. Now, I thought one thing I thought was really good was the Rome miniseries on HBO. That thing was incredible. That was really good. You know, because yeah, there were some battles, but and then there was things that really happened, and they made up the stuff between. That's the way you know, like the main things were seemed to be right, and the details were sometimes made up, and that I think that combination worked well. Although, you know, if you watch something like that, it really kind of affects how you think about things if you don't have a strong opinion one way or another. Like I remember watching the Rome miniseries, and I'm like, just like most miniseries, you get one character that ends up getting all the good lines. You're like, man, I want to see them again. They get all the good lines, you know. Like I couldn't stand the freaking kid that played Octavian. So I'm like, I don't like Octavian because I don't like that kid. At least the kid in the first in season one. The second season wasn't very remarkable, but you know, yeah, Mark Antony's got all the good lines, or as I like to call him, Marcus Antonius. Okay, yeah, it was a good show. Why do you choose the armies that you choose? I think we may have asked this before. All right, you can ask it again. So let's look at my armies. Well, you won't look at it. I'll look at them so I don't miss one. Okay, let me go to my win-loss record here. All my games and all my armies. I'm closing in on 2,000 logged games. I have 1,022 wins and 860 losses. Hey, as long as it's more wins than losses, I'm happy. Could be one, and I'd be okay. Why did I pick the armies that I picked? So my first army was the feudal Spanish because, well, I wanted to build them. I already had the troops for. I was going to build that army in Armadi, and so I built them first, and then I did the Berbers to fight them. So now I got a match pair, right? So I was at a show, and one of the vendors had a Koguryo Korean army, and it's unusual, and nobody had it. So I'm like, let's build them. And then I ended up winning a tournament with that army and won a gift certificate where I bought a DBA army pack for Rajput, so now I can build elephants. And they can talk like this. And then what did I do? Why did I get Tang Chinese next? Oh, because they fight the Koguryo. And then there was a Roman themed thing, so I got the Polybian army. And then there was going to do a Marian game at Historicon, so I had to build a Marian army, so that's why I built that. And then I did the Armenians to fight the Marians because I didn't want to do a war band type thing because everybody had that, and I wanted to do something different. Which is funny because my Armenians are one of the armies I played the most. I'm 48 and 27 with them, so what is that, like almost 80 games or something like that with them? 75 games? I've played them a lot. Then I go to Historicon and I see figures that Peter Pink just came out for Samurai, so I built a Samurai army. That's one of the few armies that I bought them and immediately went to work on them. I didn't like putz around. Then I wanted a littoral army, so I got the medieval Norwegians because I already had figures for them. Then they were going to do a Chinese Warring States tournament, so I built the Qin. Sung Dynasty, I wanted 2 artillery pieces. Was that my first army with artillery? It was my first army with artillery. Yeah. Then I wanted a Chinese army with elephants, so I built the Southern Dynasties, and it's nerfed now. I can no longer use that elephant in that army. Then 3.0, the elephants went to later Tang. So I'll have to retrofit them to be later Tang or something like that. Then we were doing a Northern Crusades game at Historicon. So I built the Swedish Lidang, or Lidang, because I was going to build the Russians for that, but ran out of time. So I never got around to doing them. Then I wanted some dismounting elements, so I built the French Ordnance. And because in 2.2 they could dismount, just to have something different. So I'm trying a variety of different playing styles in the armies. Mainly, I guess that's my first. So a combination between that, match pairing them up, and then also different playing styles. I don't want all of like the same type of thing. Then I built the Ptolemaics because I wanted a. What was the reason for that? I guess I wanted a successor army. I didn't want to build Alexander. Everybody has Alexander. Then I built the medieval Germans because I wanted to do the Deep Knights. Italian Ostrogoths because it was a Fall of Rome theme, and they're half Saloy, half Knights, so that's kind of cool. I'm sorry, it's the early Ostrogoths, which I morphed into Italian Ostrogoths with a few other elements. Figured I can get 2 for 1. I bought Rich's Nan Chow figures that he was on Kickstarter on, and I built them. That's an unusual army. Then I did the Turks for Renaissance, the Spanish, the later Spanish, both lists to fight the Turks, French Ordnance B to fight the Spanish, early Burgundians because early in the Burgundian Ordnance because I wanted why did I build those guys? Maybe because of the 8 bows, and then realized, man, I hate using the 8 bows. They're just I play on I play keep away with those damn things. Then I retrofitted my Sung Dynasty into the Northern and Southern, so I got those. Early Russians were for a tournament that I never got around to do. Plus, the early Russians are great because they fight the Teutonics, which are Luke's favorite army, and the Poles, which are Mitch's favorite army. Courage because, well, they were just cool. They were just cool to be warband and knights. And Muslim army. The medieval Irish, I wanted to drink with them. Later Hungarians, I wanted to use war wagons. There you go. That's why I built the armies that I did. Hope that suffices. So yeah, I like to hop around and do different playing style stuff. You know, in a perfect world, I would want an army that's 4 heavy foot and 4 shooters. But I don't want to have all the same army because, like, what's the point in doing that, you know? So I like mixing it up, having armies that don't shoot, you know, that kind of stuff. So I believe that Poles drink a lot, especially people from the communist period. Yeah, that makes sense. Just forget about the misery they're in. Absolutely. Peter Pig Samurai are very nice figures. They are. They're absolutely gorgeous figures. I like all the Peter Pig figures. All right. We got to do some reins on here. So that's the reason why I build the armies that I do, or did. So I'm always looking for something different. And the other thing I try to mix up is if I know people that I play with frequently have an army, I try to not build that army. Like one of the tournaments I ended up I was going to build my Athenians, and I have an Athenian army to do, and I'm like 5 or 6 figures into them. And then Mitch came along, and he has all the Greek armies you could possibly want. So my interest in doing the Athenians went out the window, which is a shame because I really like that army. But I can build an army that he doesn't have, and it makes more sense. There's only 400 armies I'm interested in, so it's nothing for me to just build a different army. So, you haven't seen me play my Armenians in a long time. I haven't played them in a long time, but man, I got almost 80 games in with them. They're a winning army, man. But you know, I'm not using them in opens either. Just like Mitch isn't using his Numidians in open. Otherwise, my Burgundians would have them for lunch. We are top 5 production in world. Huge craft beers industry. I think every place has craft beer, don't they? Yeah. I'll be right back. I gotta go to little boy's room. Okay. So the rains. Got to do the rains next. Germany does not do craft beers. We have laws. Ooh, I'd much rather have laws than craft beer. The Reinheitsgebot. Reinheitsgebot determines what can be in a beer, so we only make great quality beers, and every area is loyal to the local brewery. Man, that's kind of like walking in lockstep. Reinheitsgebot. Hopefully I said that right. If not, I'm doing better than most Americans. Uh-oh. Aha, the party just ended. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. About 2 hours. And we will finish this guy up next time. So you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And that was very good. Okay. Reinheitsgebot. Wer ist mein Reinheitsgebot? We'll catch you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. And we will see you soon.